Mayor Andrew Gilich was elected mayor of Biloxi in a special election in May of 2015. Mayor Gilich was born and raised in Biloxi, the son of Andrew M. Gilich Sr. and Jacobina Sequel Gilich. Our mayor was taught the value of hard work and dedication as a stockboy in the family grocery business Foodland, as a can catcher in his grandparents' seafood factory, Seacoast, and as a deckhand on the Pan American Clipper excursion boat. He learned discipline and leadership at a young age as a graduate of Gulf Coast Military Academy. He also graduated from Notre Dame High School in Biloxi in 1965, and from the University of Houston in 1970, where he earned a degree in mathematics. He first entered the computer field in 1968 while also continuing a postgraduate training in programming, system analysis, and operations research. He worked at Control Data Corporation in Johnson Space Center in Houston, before returning home in 1972 as a scientific programmer at Ingalls Shipbuilding, before opening his own software company, Golf Self Analytical, in 1983 in Biloxi. His business was the first high-tech business in Biloxi, and he eventually served customers in nearly 40 states across the nation. His clients included more than 50% of the largest public school districts in the country. Also among his clients in 1980 was the city of Biloxi, where he computerized the city's accounting and financial tracking system. Oh, and one more thing. Our mayor likes to be called FoFo. As we all know, nearly everyone in Biloxi has a nickname. He was tagged with this as a young toddler because of his affinity for Jack and the Beanstalk. You know, fee, fi, fo, fo, fum. I smell the blood of an English man. Ladies and gentlemen, I present you the Honorable Andrew FoFo Gilich, Mayor of Biloxi.
Wow. Thank y'all. They got cameras and everything here tonight. But before I get started, so many people, it's almost like a family reunion. And so many great organizations, and I want to recognize Mayor Billy Hughes and my partners at the Harrison County Utility Authority there. I don't know if they were mentioned earlier, but welcome everyone, and leadership from Keesler Field, all our partners, every organization. But let me say something first. That I'm so thrilled to be here, and as mayor, and that my words couldn't describe what I'm feeling. And with that, we're going to move forward, and I'm going to see if I can struggle through this part of the program. But it's great to see so many people here today. Especially welcome to, I said, all the partners and some of the new elected officials. I see our sheriff down there and his crew, and again, I want to thank the Beau Rivage and of course the Chamber for putting all these people together and doing a tremendous job. Of course, our City Council, and I think we're on track for a 1:30 meeting, so I'm going to have to hurry up with this. But, it was mentioned during the campaign, I met with I think Mary Perez is there too, she's in the back somewhere, but we were at the editorial board, and they asked me, so look, should you be fortunate enough to be mayor of Biloxi, do you envision any problems working with the people on the city council, 4 of which ran for mayor? I said, Stan and Mary, look, I was president of the Savonia Lodge from 2003 to 2015. So we have 300 members and 600 opinions. So you do the arithmetic. But I don't think, we had any problems, and I truly appreciate the support that the City Council has provided me over these last few months. But let me express my deepest appreciation to my wife, Serena. For putting up with me for 47 years, and especially the last 9 months. That also goes for my children, my grandchildren, and my great family and friends. I'm going to go off the script a little bit. You know, music in Biloxi, if you grew up in the 60s, was special. It was lyrics, almost poetry, but it would get your blood pumping and the neurons firing, and it still does for me. You heard "Get Cronked." My grandson, Zachary gave me this device. And if you're in my office before a council meeting or for any kind of argument, you'll hear this get me cranked up. So it's "Get Cronked," and it still makes it for me. But also, I see Vincent over there. I said, "Vincent, I'll take your picture creel." And we wanted to go over some of the signals. So it's almost going to be, Vincent, tell me if I'm wrong, it's almost be like the responsorial psalm at Mass. That's when you're supposed to applaud, okay. Is that right? Okay. Recently, I was reminded that I'm in my 9th month as mayor of Biloxi. And let me assure you, as we speak today, we are in labor and we continue to deliver. Today, we have a video presentation that will show you almost everything going on in this city right now. But before you watch it, I want to express my greatest appreciation and thanks to the nearly 600 members of Team Biloxi. Those are the people who make things happen. So those of you who are here today, please stand so we can be recognized. Look, it's obvious to me that no one cares more about Biloxi and its future than all of us in this room right now. We have the obligation to stand up for Biloxi and to make our city the best place it can be. As we move forward, we'll remember our unique past, our rich history, and our colorful heritage. But everything is not all roses. But without doubt, we'll handle the things that have been dropped in our lap and the things that will be placed on our plate. As we go forward, we keep in mind the lyrics in that Fleetwood Mac song. Don't stop thinking about tomorrow. Don't stop, it'll soon be here. I'm going to step away just a moment and like the movie Wizard of Oz, pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. And I'll join you again in about 31 minutes for a few closing remarks. Thank you. Hello, Biloxi. Thank you for joining me today for the state of the city. To put it into one word, the state of our city is strong and getting stronger every day. I've been your mayor now for 39 weeks and 1 day. Some days have been longer than others, but I've enjoyed every one of them. It's an honor and a privilege to be the mayor of my hometown. My goal is to make Biloxi the best city it can be, to always do what's best for Biloxi, to appreciate our long and colorful history, to cherish the hard work and values of our parents, grandparents, great-grandparents, to instill those values in our children and grandchildren. Finally, to make sure the name Biloxi and everything it stands for lives on for many generations to come. We have real challenges before us, but we will meet them together. Biloxi has been around for more than 300 years. We observed our 317th birthday just last week. We have an obligation to not only preserve the unique qualities of our heritage, but to embrace the future, while honoring the Biloxi we know and love. We owe our thanks to many past leaders like A.J. Holloway, who led us through many challenges in recent decades. But today is a new day. I stand before you to say that we are on the threshold of great accomplishment and even greater opportunity. We must put Katrina in the rearview mirror. We can and will do that. We have a vision for Biloxi that involves each of you in spirit, cooperation, and commitment. I want our 5.6 million visitors a year to talk more about the new Biloxi, a Biloxi that cherishes and promotes its history, its culture, its diversity, and a Biloxi that offers its residents an authentic, unique quality of life, and visitors a first-class experience that will have them coming back again and again, and spinning our message across the country and beyond. Today, I want to touch on some of the plans that will enable us to achieve that vision. We took office May 18, 2015, and we hit the ground running. In fact, you could say we had a double play right away. First, there was the issue of getting MGM Park open and bringing the Shuckers home. The team played on the road for its first 55 games while the stadium was being constructed, and we were facing costly penalties if we didn't get the stadium ready for play. We brought all the partners together, opened the stadium, and did that without any significant additional cost to the city. Our first game was June 6th, 2 months ahead of the scheduled August opening. Next up was the BP settlement. We settled for a coast-best $4.9 million, and we got the most money for the city and the Biloxi Public Schools. Early on, we visited our congressional delegation in Washington to help our cause. About the same time, we began meeting with our state representatives, our state senators, and our municipal colleagues across the coast. We shared one clear message. There was a new leadership in Biloxi. We're going to be progressive, and we're going to stand up for Biloxi, and we're going to work with our neighbors to promote the entire coast. I say we because I could not do this alone. One of the first things I did was to assemble an economic development team headed by City Attorney Gerald Blessing, the former mayor, former legislator, and former Coast Housing Czar for Haley Barbour. Gerald's task was twofold: to make sure we're controlling our legal costs while aggressively pursuing economic development that will mean more jobs, more opportunities for our citizens, and more revenue to provide the highest quality services. Gerald's suggestion: we place $4.1 million of our BP settlement into a perpetual economic development security fund to provide revolving loans for cash flow and to incent new businesses. Right away, the City Council accepted my recommendation to use this fund to pay off $2.7 million in owned loans, saving interest and improving my financial condition. We dared to dream big, and we're earnest in our effort. We have developed a plan for waterfront revitalization and economic development through aggressive pursuit of Tidelands funds and other state and federal monies. We know that Biloxi is the engine driving the Tidelands train. Last year, revenue for the Tidelands funds was over $10 million. Biloxi was responsible for 84% of that revenue and only received $680,000 in return. A fair investment of Tidelands funds in Biloxi would be used for large-scale waterfront development projects to expand tourism, create jobs, and produce even more revenue for the Tidelands Fund. In pursuit of that goal, we have submitted to the state and our legislative delegation Tidelands projects that total nearly $15 million. We want to expand Point Cadet Marina and the small craft harbor, putting all the charter boats in the small craft harbor to recreate an authentic fisherman's wharf experience. Create a new commercial harbor on Back Bay, where we'll have boardwalks and pathways that connect restaurants, casinos, and innovative water-related businesses. Create boardwalks and pavilions, and other things to serve as bookends for the row of restaurants on West Beach. We are a waterfront community, and our residents and visitors should enjoy the abundant beauty, spectacular vistas, and recreational opportunities on our peninsula. We can create more jobs and growth here in Biloxi, and more opportunities for everyone. If the state reinvests in our waterfront, make no mistake, we're not looking to shortchange any of our neighboring cities. Over the years, Thailand's money generated in Biloxi has built boat ramps and piers from Moss Point to Waveland. I'm glad to help do that. Biloxi is a tourism leader not only on the coast but throughout the state, and we need to develop more and new amenities to expand and secure our tourism base in the expanding and competitive marketplace. For too long, some state leaders have thwarted the coast through a divide and conquer strategy. They play one or more of us against the other. To change that, I work with my fellow mayors to establish more regular forums, to bring together local government leaders from all three coast counties to discuss this common concern, to work together on a consensus agenda on key issues like high-speed, affordable broadband expansion and state BP economic damage monies. Our collaboration has already gained the attention of the state leaders and forged a new dynamic of cooperation and shared endeavor that strengthens our profile and reach. I envision a day when anyone, anywhere in Biloxi can turn their computer and have an instant, affordable, ultra-high-speed access to the internet. We are aggressively pursuing that vision to assure the entire Mississippi Gulf Coast is able to compete with the rest of the country in high-tech applications that enhance every aspect of our lives. Doctor's appointments can be made from the comfort of your home. Businesses can download and upload information in seconds instead of minutes or hours. Public safety can respond faster with more focused resources. Education can more easily transition from the classroom into the home. This new internet capacity will attract new businesses and expand those we have now. Biloxi and the Gulf Coast will be recognized as a 21st century community on the cusp of innovation and ingenuity. 10 of our 15 cities and counties have signed up for the Gulf Coast Broadband Initiative. Governor Phil Bryant said $15 million of the state money was available, and we should use it to build the middle mile of this high-speed fiber optic backbone. Our plan is to operate that fiber optic ring and have private enterprise take it the last mile to our homes and businesses. We must have high-speed internet connections in a timely, affordable, and redundant fashion. We will make sure that there is no digital divide in our neighborhoods and businesses. Universal, no fiber hoods. Another critical shared pursuit is for the $750 million in economic damages that Mississippi is going to receive from the BP oil spill. With our colleagues across the coast, we started an initiative that implores the state legislature to commit at least 80% of our $750 million to the local governments of the three coastal counties where the oil spill had a direct impact. We believe that 100% of that money should come to the coast, but we are realists. The state government has a budget shortfall, and other community leaders elsewhere want a share of those millions. We stood together to tell the state that we're sympathetic to their position, but the lion's share should be invested on the coast, and because we have not yet been made whole. Redevelopment here will give a return on investment to the state that would be recurring and be far greater than a one-time shoring up of infrastructure in other areas of the state. In Biloxi, we've also proposed more than $100 million in waterfront projects that could and should be funded with BP and Restore Act funds. We have a unique opportunity to turn an environmental disaster into unprecedented waterfront development. We can spur economic growth while honoring our history as one of the nation's premier seafood producers. We're only asking for what is fair. Competition can be tough. For example, the Mississippi Department of Archives and History recently announced its grants for 2016. 22 grants were announced. 10 were awarded north of Jackson, totaling $1.28 million. 11 were awarded for Central Mississippi for $1.5 million, and one grant for $150,000 was awarded to only one of 6 coastal counties. That's almost $3 million in funding and only $150,000 in the entire Gulf Coast. None for Biloxi. which sends millions to the state each year in gaming taxes and sales taxes. We don't think that's fair. Our coast, so rich in history and culture, is overlooked. We have the Sanger Theater, in dire need of rehabilitation and renovation. One of our legislators tells us that there's always a lot of horse trading that goes on in Jackson. I don't mind that, as long as we get a few horses. What are we doing about it? We are pursuing opportunities to help restore not just the Sanger, but all our downtown, including repopulation and retail expansion. And we're pursuing other available monies for various enhancements. Last year, our fire department worked with the Federal Programs Office to secure a $1 million grant for a new ladder truck. This new truck replaced a 20-year-old ladder truck. Our fire department also worked with Senator Cochran's office to obtain a $1.2 million grant that pays for 12 new firefighters for 2 years. We've taken steps to ensure more of that. We have formed an interdepartmental grants committee that meets weekly to identify and aggressively pursue public and private grants of every type. And we are succeeding. Take the Biloxi School District. Because of Biloxi's record for academic achievement, our school district was awarded a 5-year $1 million grant from the Department of Defense. This grant will allow our school leaders to provide the further support for our military students and families. It will enhance science, technology, engineering, and mathematics opportunities, STEM, within the district. Let's not forget, in the past few years, our school district is home for 3 National Blue Ribbon schools, and we're recognized for our wide array of advanced placement classes and rich curriculum. 2015 was also a great year for Keesler Air Force Base. Keesler Medical Center ranked in the top 10% of the nation. It was one of the only 20 sites in the country to use the latest coronary stent technology. In March, the Keesler Air Show and Open House hosted 170,000 visitors on the base, a huge success for our community. More than 100 distinguished visitors and support staff arrived from bases all over the country for the Senior Leader Conference. It highlighted this premier installation in our local community. 2016 promises to be another banner year. After years of inaction on the new Keesler main entrance gate at the west end of Division Street, we brought together the stakeholders and focused on developing a unified plan. Today, the multi-million-dollar gate is finally in the pipeline, thanks to the help of our friends Senator Cochran and Wicker in the state of Mississippi. Keesler Medical Center also is in the midst of a 3-year, $74 million renovation set for completion in 2017. And a joint land use study is helping determine solutions to land uses that may impact Keesler. The Biloxi Housing Authority continues its great work. Before Katrina, the Housing Authority served 779 total families. The day after Katrina, it served about 202. Today, it serves more than 1,800 families. We have 10 public housing sites encompassing about 1,140 units, and there are about 701 Section 8 units, including those that serve veterans. I want to also thank the Housing Authority, the Biloxi VA, and other homeless advocates who brought us positive national recognition and attention for our work with virtually ending homelessness for veterans. We have more work to do in the area of homelessness. We've tackled that problem by identifying and soliciting outside developers interested in public and private partnerships to create more affordable housing, especially for our seniors. In November, Coast Transit rolled out 5 new state-of-the-art hybrid electric buses. These new buses are quiet, comfortable, and are 20% more fuel efficient than a diesel bus. They are clean and green. Coast Transit also installs solar-powered bus stops and even automated fare boxes that collect data. Coast Transit even unveiled a new app to let customers know when they can expect their bus to arrive at any stop. I appreciate the work being done by all of our city departments and employees. They've had another great year of accomplishment. Our Biloxi Police Department last year had a 45% arrest rate on assigned felony cases, which is better than twice the national average and 15% over the past 2 years. They handled the opening of MGM Park, a new nighttime Mardi Gras parade, the Neptune Parade. Both of these events went off without a hitch. At the same time, the department handled 126,000 calls for service, wrote 21,000 traffic tickets, responded to 2,846 accidents, and made 7,300 arrests. And only 3% of those arrests required force, which is a testament to the department's professionalism and training. Our fire department has seen a number of milestones in the past year. For the first time in history, the fire department achieved a Class 3 rating, one of only 3 in the state. This means we have the highest professional standards and the lower insurance costs for homes and businesses. In the past 3 years, members of our fire department completed more than 31,000 hours of training. Another first, the department has also reached the National Fire Prevention Association's mandate for having 15 firefighters on the scene on every first alarm fire. Despite all of these accomplishments, we still had a fire fatality last year, the first in several years. As a result, our fire department launched Your Attention to Fire Prevention. Firefighters installed more than 1,000 new smoke detectors in 300 homes. We also made more than 4,000 fire safety inspections in the past year. At the same time, the department responded to more than 6,400 calls for service, nearly 4,300 of those calls being emergency medical calls. I want to thank Chief Joe Boney and his group of firefighters who volunteer their time in communities that have seen their share of disaster. We all know the importance of help after a major disaster. Our firefighters, on their own time, helped in the aftermath of Superstorm Sandy. They were in Oklahoma in the wake of the deadly tornadoes. And a few weeks ago, they were in central Mississippi at the small Three Forks community. Let me tell you a quick story about the impact of this work. At Chief Boney's suggestion, City Council and I donated a surplus fire truck to Three Forks community, which lost everything. When our people drove the truck to the Three Forks, a local businessman up there told their chief that they would pay to have the Three Forks name put on the truck. Their chief said, "Well, we're going to leave the name Biloxi on the front, and we're going to paint God Bless above it." This year, in July, Chief Boney and the Biloxi Fire Department will be hosting the 88th Annual Conference of Southeastern Fire Chiefs. We'll have 500 chiefs in town. The subject of the conference will be something our people are very familiar with, dealing with disaster. Our Community Development Department issued permits totaling more than $86 million last year. That's $57 million in commercial development, $28 million in residential development. We are slowly regaining our pre-storm population. You will see work underway at the Casino Magic site. They've gutted the old Santa Maria, a new 119-room Hyatt Place going up west of Porter Avenue, a new Walmart neighborhood store opened on Pass Road, and another is under construction on Pops Ferry Road, near where the new Arbor Landing apartments are being constructed. We saw the Sal and Mookie's open at the Town Green, and 3 new restaurants, The Reef, Beach Bums, and Baja Beach, to open on West Beach. Bacchus opened across from the MGM Park. The State Rating Bureau says we have one of the best community development departments in the state. And the feds say we're doing an outstanding job in managing our floodplain. This is vitally important to those 6,000 property owners in Biloxi who pay lower flood rates because of our efforts. We took major steps this year to help reduce the risk from future flooding. All new construction in Biloxi must be built to a 100-year flood event. This is a huge step from the 25-year standard we had operated under for generations. This means we're being responsible as we grow the city, and we'll be in a better position when the next storm comes. Our Parks and Recreation Department has always prided itself on being innovative and all-inclusive. In previous years, we touted the department's Challenger League for those with disabilities. We've talked about the disc golf course at Hiller Park, and now the hot new sport is pickleball. In the simplest of terms, it's a mixture of tennis, badminton, and ping pong, and it's popular among seniors. Last year, we converted a tennis court to a pickleball, and we've seen 200 pickleballers, and we expect 300 this year. I like to think our Parks and Recreation Department is about fun and innovation, but it's about numbers. and I like to say numbers are my friend. The department handled 958 special events at Gilich, Snyder, Visitors, and Civic Centers, at Hiller Park, and at Point Cadet. There were more than 75,000 visits to the Snyder Center last year, 15,000 in the pool at the natatorium, and 7,500 at the Snyder pool. Our seniors, luncheon, and special events saw more than 4,400 participants, and our farmers market observed its 40th year. We had more than 2,100 youngsters in our youth leagues, and more than 500 kids took swim lessons, and other 200 were on our swim teams. That's a lot of numbers and a lot of quality recreation time for our residents. This year, our Parks and Recreation Department will host the state seniors games. It used to be held in Clinton, and they'd attract 300 to 400 athletes. That's what we drew for our local seniors games. Now that the state games have been moved to Biloxi, and we're a qualifying site for the national games, and we're drawing from 700 to 800 athletes from across the state, and as far away as California and Alaska. They know the name Biloxi, and they know the quality of experience they will have here. Since taking office, I directed our Parks and Recreation Department and Public Works to clean up Highway 90. Some people may question whose responsibility Highway 90 and its medians are, but in my view, it's our front yard and needs to look like our front yard. Our crews edged and shaped the medians a couple of times last year. And a few weeks ago, we rented equipment to help us pick up the sand blown from the beach that had been in parking bays and turning lanes for months. Moving forward, our goal is to sit down with MDOT and Harrison County to see how we can together keep Highway 90 looking the best it can. We're going to do our part, but I think the taxpayers deserve a coordinated and well-planned team effort on Highway 90. Our Public Works Department is also coordinating the widening of Pops Ferry Road. You're going to see this final phase from Cedar Lake eastward to D'Iberville open this summer. And it's going to be a milestone occasion for Pops Ferry Road motorists. You'll see the road that looks like a boulevard, with 4 traffic lanes separated by a 16-foot wide center median. It's going to be safe and efficient. I know this may be cold comfort for those who live on the peninsula in East Biloxi, but our Public Works Department spent $5 million to do paving work on 49 streets, made concrete repairs to 7 more, patched 3,800 potholes, and made 10,000 trash pickups along that way. We saw hundreds of on-street parking spaces created in downtown Biloxi to meet the demand created by MGM Park. And we created more than 5 miles of bike lanes on major thoroughfares. Another important aspect of our city services is our public harbors and marinas. Larry Sablich, who manages our harbors and marinas, likes to say he manages a floating apartment complex, and it's a big one too. Consider this. We have 86 commercial vessels, 214 recreational vessels. We're full at the commercial docks, and at the Sherman, Kane, and Back Bay docks, we're at 90% during the summer months at the small craft harbor. Point Cadet is about 50%, but that swells to nearly 70% during the summer months. We actually have more than a dozen people who live on their boats year-round. I also want to point out that Point Cadet Marina continues to be home to 5 big fishing tournaments that attract hundreds of people and boaters from across the southeast. Even with all these accomplishments, I drive the same roads that you do. For years, the city talked about work on its massive $355 million infrastructure project. And there's much more to do, which means even more frustration. For years, you've heard the promises of new streets, new drainage, and new sidewalks. Work has been completed in Sunkist, Ancient Oaks, and the Holly Hills subdivision. Work has been completed in Eagle Point. But the big story today, of course, is the state of the roads in East Biloxi. Let me repeat it. I drive the same streets you do, and I know the conditions of the roads. Contractors came in and tore up 55 miles of streets at the outset of the project. I have worked to bring more accountability from the contractors and engineers to provide more information to the residents. We just passed a resolution to do temporary paving for some of the major thoroughfares. What I can tell you today, this work north of the CSX Railway in East Biloxi is a 3-year contract, and it began in August of 2014. We have another 19 months to go. We're going to continue to stay on, everyone, to do everything we can legally to keep these roads passable and to complete this project. Here's something else I can tell you. When this work moves south of the CSX Railway, it's going to be a whole new ball game, my ball game. We're not going to see anyone come in and tear up miles of streets. It's going to be controlled, it's going to be supervised, and it's going to be orderly. But make no mistake, it is major construction. It will be inconvenient. I'm sure we'll hear some complaining. And speaking of complaining, let me tell you about a group I've worked to meet with every single week since I became mayor. It's what I call the Wool Market Planning Commission. It's a group of residents from that area who want to know what the city is going to do for them. And I am familiar with the issues in Wool Market. I know that the city must live up to its promises. To address the needs, the City Council and I have commissioned a broad analysis of the water, sewer, drainage, and fire needs in Wool Market. We will have a master plan shortly. We are also working on issues in the meantime. Just last month, we moved forward with design work for major drainage improvements on the east side of Wool Market Road. This year, we expect to be moving forward with the 18-month construction project. Finally, let me address another important issue: city finances. In fact, in nearly all cases, our taxes and fees are the lowest on the coast and may be the lowest of any city of our size. But, as Mayor Holloway said in his latter years in office, the surplus that we had from gaming is gone. We are healthy, but not wealthy. Our annual police and fire budget was about $5 million a year before gaming. Today, 20 years later, the annual budget for police and fire is $31 million, half of our $58 million operating budget. And the advancements in public safety have not only benefited our quality of life, but helped reduce our insurance costs. I also like the idea of having the lowest water, sewer, and garbage rates of any city around. The state tells us that we cannot provide any service for a fee that does not cover the cost to the city. It cost us almost $17 a month to pick up your garbage, and Biloxi was only charging you $10 a month. That's not good business. Our credit rating will suffer, and we'll spend hundreds of thousands of dollars in interest payments. That's why we just adjusted those rates, and we still have the lowest rates on the coast. Our goal is to provide you the services that you expect and deserve at an affordable rate. These challenges that I've outlined here for you today are not things that we'll accomplish overnight. They require planning, patience, and political will. And yes, we have and will remain aggressive. One of the reasons I ran for mayor is to help this brand we call Biloxi. We built that brand over 300 years. It's known around the world. Hard work, hospitality, and culture are our trademarks. Our role is to protect and promote that authentic and unique brand, not only for new residents and new businesses and new opportunities, but for our children and our grandchildren, so they will enjoy the same Biloxi, a better Biloxi, the one we all love and call home. God bless all of you, and God bless Biloxi. Thank you, thank you. Thanks to everyone who had a part in that, the content and the production of that, the presentations. I enjoyed it back there. I did, Breezy, I see Breezy, I had a Bud Light back there, so I feel better. Couple of things, speaking of Breezy, I want to acknowledge and congratulate this past weekend, Jay Trosset and Kenny Bohanovich for being inducted in the Bill Fish Hall of Fame. Stand up, Jay. And of course, his wife of 47 years, Vicki Trosset Wade, or Vicki Wade Trosset, excuse me. Anyway, got a few more things to say, but I do thank you for, again, once for your attendance and a couple of things. I need your help this Thursday at 11:21. An Amtrak passenger train will make a stop in Biloxi near the CTA Transit Center around Raynor Street. It'll be the inspection tour for a possible passenger rail service from New Orleans to Bay St. Louis to Gulfport to Biloxi and Pensacola and points beyond. It's real important. I promised the Rail Commission a big 10-minute party, and that they would be impressed with Biloxi. The head of Amtrak and the governor will step off the train, and we want them to see a huge crowd. And I see Arthur over there. Check your kids out of school too, right? No problem with that, Arthur? Okay. But we do. If everyone in this room would be there, it'd be a great crowd. So we're going to put on a dog and pony show at least for 10 minutes. So we do request that, if you got a few minutes, be there 11:21. And in 1941, Keesler Field began operations. Today, it's Keesler Air Force Base. And it's hard to describe what it means and how important Keesler is and has been to Biloxi, its citizens, and in fact, the coast and the state. 75 years, that's quite an accomplishment. Thank you. And you're going to be hearing about the 75th anniversary of Keesler throughout this year, I'm sure, so be aware. Thank you. Another exciting opportunity centers around Merit Health in downtown Biloxi and the healthcare industry zone. It's a 5-mile zone centered around the hospital. It's designed to bring new medical services businesses and also an interesting housing opportunity to downtown Biloxi. Merit is also continuing their process for the second hospital out in Cedar Lake, and that zone and those benefits will be around that 5-mile radius too. So we're excited about that, and Merit's pushing forward to have a lot of programs. I think at Keesler Field, we just talked about, at Keesler, excuse me, my kids said, don't call it Keesler Field, Danny. It's Keesler Air Force Base. But I understand in talking with the folks at Merit that there's some opportunity for Keesler and their medical center to work with the robotics components that we have at Merit Health. And we're excited about that. So together again, we'll have state-of-the-art and services that you'll be proud of. And then how about all that development in Pops Ferry Road, the expansion being concluded very shortly. And of course, Walmart and Arbor View Apartments. But, how about the new Biloxi Junior High School getting ready to open in 2017? Two other things that I want to mention that are in the pipeline, and they tie into our past and tie into our future. We're working with Commissioner Tom King and MDOT on the U.S. Highway 90 pedestrian crossover from MGM Park. The design is going to be old Biloxi, old school. It will bring you back, and you're going to love it. Today, we're also working with the Scrimetta family and expect to establish a daily Ship Island excursions from and to and from Biloxi. Everyone remembers those boat rides on the Pan American Clipper and the Pan American. And how much fun did you have on the beaches and in the surf on Ship Island? For me, it's special. I grew up with the Scrimetta family, and I really grew up as a deckhand in the 9th grade and worked all the way to a junior in college when I married my wife. So that was a summer job that really means a lot to me, and it's something that we need to bring back to Biloxi. So we're excited about that. And it would be another great experience for our visitors, just another part of the deal. I want to say one thing, that in Biloxi, we have the whole package. The people, the places, and the things. We'll continue to polish it, and it will shine more than ever. Thank you for being here today, and allow me to close by using the words of another song. I can see clearly now. The rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Gone are the cloudy skies, and for Biloxi, it's going to be a bright, bright, sunny day. May God bless you And may God continue to bless Biloxi. Thank you.
I can see clear tonight.